Let's dive a little bit deeper, though, on Michael's history. It's very short, but it's very sweet because it ends with a World Finals appearance. Top 8 in Bochum, then Utrecht, top 32, Malmo in top 64. Shohei's resume looking a little bit longer and going back quite a bit further. Top 4 at Japan Nationals in this season, top 32 at Worlds last year. 2019 made top 16 at NAIC, definitely traveling. Really, really interesting team as well. When we start with the Farigiraf, the one that he even talked about himself, the Chien-Pao, Dragapult, Urshifu, Rillaboom, and Heatran rounding out that team.
It really seems like he's figured it out. We do see his group of 6 Pokemon there. As I mentioned before, something that a lot of players have been looking at as one of the teams they really need to have a good answer to. Maybe a little more limited in what Pokemon you can select, but should be interesting to see what we get. An interesting combination of Pokemon starting this one out.
Well, Michael delivers on turn 0, turn 1 with both the Farigiraf and Dragapult. Yeah, the Dragapult is really in a sticky situation, but it's not going to be from the Chien-Pao this turn as Shohei switches it out in place of that Urshifu. So that'll be landing on the field, ready to do some work next turn, leaving just the Amoonguss. We're getting Terrestrialization in turn number 1. It is going to be on to the Amoonguss, so trying to keep itself safe with that very standard now defensive water terrestrialization, making sure that it's not being caught by something like the Psychic out of the Farigiraf. Dragapult kicks us off with a Dragon Darts, though, getting a good chunk of damage down onto both of them, but not really threatening anything else. As Farigiraf does follow up onto the Amoonguss, will not get the knockout thanks to that Terra typing, will, of course, activate the berry, so Amoonguss looking pretty healthy after it's just tanked up a couple of attacks from Michael's side, and in response, it's able to Spore and put this Dragapult right to sleep.
And Dragapult not getting a whole lot done there. Able to dish out some damage.
Definitely in danger. Now it's asleep, and it didn't really get much done in that first turn. That side of the field for Shohei, though, is going to keep on being a revolving door of Pokemon as Urshifu leaves just as quickly as it came in. He reveals his 4th and final Pokemon in that Fluttermane. Farigiraf will leave the field, not feeling like it needs to protect against something like the Sucker Punch. As Rillaboom comes in, that is going to be a bit of a problem for that Amoonguss down the line, potentially. Now it's a water type. Grassy Surge will get that grassy terrain set up. Dragapult will remain asleep for this turn, and Amoonguss is going to try and Spore. So a great switch for multiple reasons there for Michael Kelsch.
Yeah, a great switch on the Fluttermane as well.
Going to get 2 Dragon Darts if this Dragapult wakes up. To keep that in mind, he's just protecting it this turn, doesn't want the Dragapult to wake up and get the knockout, as it will remain asleep. So this is going to be a good old turn for the Fluttermane as it fires off the Dazzling Gleam. Dragapult definitely not able to take that one, and it's going to be our first knockout here in the Masters Finals. Rillaboom, though, will Woodhammer, targeting correctly in the Fluttermane, and a critical hit takes down the Fluttermane, so doesn't fall for the protect on that Amoonguss, and it's 3-3 already. Rillaboom taking a good amount of recoil, making sure it gets to activate a berry as well. So it's going to heal up with the Citrus Berry, and now we're in a very sticky situation as both trainers have to replace their fallen Pokemon. Is gone. Farigiraf will take the field, so definitely trying to help out as Chien-Pao comes back in for Shohei. That is going to put a huge amount of pressure down onto this Rillaboom. It's, though, a couple of offensive choices on that side to help out. It is going to be the Terrestrialization from Michael's side, saving it for a little bit later, and he's going with the Rillaboom, trying to keep it safe from that Chien-Pao with the Poison-type Terrestrialization, one that is going to be pretty hard to answer with the options that are selected by Shohei. There's the Icicle Crash. The Rillaboom will take that much better, sticking around, but Rillaboom flinches. This is a big, big turn as it's not able to get anything done, and the Spore onto the Farigiraf means it's not able to act. Michael was trying to set up so much in that turn, maybe just take out the Amoonguss, but not getting it done. What a huge momentum swing. Got to wonder what that final Pokemon is with the fact he was trying to Trick Room on that turn. Rillaboom will protect itself. Shohei is feeling pretty good, just sucker punching into the Farigiraf. Doesn't really matter there. But of course, the Farigiraf is going to remain asleep. Amoonguss will Pollen Puff, heading towards the Farigiraf, getting a good chunk down. This is once again one of those battle-ready Amoonguss that we've been seeing all weekend.
Hey, I guess it doesn't really need to do anything else with that turn, right? Wasn't a whole lot of threat and any damage coming either way.
A little bit of extra damage down. Rillaboom really not feeling this endgame board position with a low amount of health. We do get to see Michael's 4th and final Pokemon is another one of those Chien-Pao.
Yeah, I wondered if it might be the heat trend away with his position, but we'll have to see if, the Qianpao can do anything, but it's the opposing Qianpao whiffing the Icicle Crash.
Farigiraf also wakes up and is firing off a dazzling gleam, so getting the Qianpao to below half. Amoonguss will fire back with a Pollen Puff, but it's not enough for the knockout on to the Farigiraf. Even with a critical hit, it is dangerously low, and it is going to be easy to pick up. Does get to try and recover at least a little bit with this grassy terrain, as it does disappear at the end of this turn.
Much better in the field now without that Rillaboom, but no Rage Powder coming in here.
Well, there's the Icicle Crash from the side of Michael's Qianpao. Qianpao will respond with an Icicle Crash. It hits this time into the Farigiraf, so not able to follow up with one of those dazzling gleams. And Amoonguss left alone to cause problems once again, landing a Spore into that Qianpao.
Oh, that's a tough spot now. We see how damaged this Rillaboom is. The Qianpao not just falling asleep, but not getting to use any of the turns of the sleep on that. So even if the Rillaboom were, say, to go for a protect here, Qianpao would not be able to wake up. And
is it worth it when it's one of your last two Pokemon? Qianpao starting off, though, with a Sacred Sword. That is down to the sash. It's already looking pretty dicey. This could be one of the final turns in Game 1. Obviously, has to take that turn of sleep. Didn't act after the Spore. Rillaboom, though, will just go for it with the Wood Hammer. Does get the knockout onto Qianpao, so does start to level things up a little bit, but it's so weak after that recoil does hit. As Amoonguss will double up onto the Qianpao. If you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. You may as well get that knocked out just to make sure it doesn't wake up and cause problems.
Hey, Amoonguss not the most offensively threatening Pokemon in the game, but when you only have one hit point after activating a Focus Sash, even Amoonguss could easily pick up that knockout.
Amoonguss picking up knockouts following turn, if not, giving the benefit over to the Amoonguss. Amoonguss taking a turn off fighting this one. Gone Pacifist for a little bit, making sure it draws away any attacks. One Surging Strike to bring it down to 2. The second one will get the fourth and final knockout of the game. Shohei Kimura up 1-0 here in the Masters Finals. Getting caught with that Spore was a problem. It's going to be the same lead for Shohei, and it's going to be a mix-up for Michael. We're already seeing a brand new Pokemon. He's got to do something different here. Really be accelerating yourself towards a World Championship. Qianpao once again leaves the field, just comes in, checks out what's going on, and bounces out once again for the Urshifu. Looking pretty similar from Shohei in the beginning of this game. We're getting the turn 1 terrestrialization, and it's going to be the Dragapult this time, so making sure it gets to boost up some of those very threatening attacks with the Ghost-type Terra. That is going to make Phantom Force or Terra Blast pretty terrifying. Urshifu starting off with the Surging Strikes into the Amoonguss, just getting down a little bit of damage. It's not going to be super effective, but I think just any damage is going to be exactly what he wants onto this Amoonguss. Dragapult will be moving next and is given the opportunity to see what it can do. It is Terra Blast being locked in. It is heading towards the Amoonguss. It was such a problem in game number 1, and Amoonguss able to take that. It's able to eat its berry, and it's all in from Michael on that turn. He wants to get rid of the Amoonguss, but he's just not able to as it fires back with a Spore onto the Dragapult.
Yeah, now it's the second game in a row where that Dragapult can't make it through a single turn without falling asleep. Generator ability heals HP, so that damage may not even stick.
Yeah, Michael's not going to let that Dragapult go down so easily in this one. Switching it out for the Farigiraf, so it is still a key player. Urshifu will Surging Strikes the opposing Urshifu, just trying to get some damage down on that side of things and see what he's able to do. I am curious as to what the Amoonguss is targeting, but not very effective hits aren't really a big problem here. See 3 critical hits, not enough to the threatening knockouts. As Urshifu Surging Strikes will land into Farigiraf, they're going to do a whole lot more in this one. But activate the Rocky Helmet here. That's a lot of damage going back towards that Urshifu.
Yeah, it looked like the poke damage of that Surging Strikes not going to be such a big deal on the Urshifu, but hey, all of a sudden it's looking pretty worn down, and we see Farigiraf has another one in its bag of tricks.
Oh, well, the Spore heading towards the Urshifu this time. Shohei is just making sure he can keep those Pokemon sleeping.
Taking a snooze, and neither of them have spent that turn, so they're both going to have to sit in the field for at least one turn before they even have the chance of waking up.
Well, Amoonguss has done a lot in this game, and it's being switched out in lieu of the Fluttermane. Urshifu will just remain asleep. It's still at full health, but it is definitely threatened. Urshifu will Surging Strikes once again into the Farigiraf, so it's going to make that trade, right? It's going to make sure that he gets the Farigiraf down. There's not going to be anything like a Trick Room or a Dazzling Gleam coming back in that way but Rocky Helmet certainly adds up onto the side of Urshifu, as it's a straight trade in that one.
A lot to send us to a game 3.
It's also going to have to work through this Amoonguss, which is back and looking healthier than ever. It's going up against the Chien Pao, which is not going to appreciate the presence of that Fluttermane right now. Make some big calls, some big reads. We are going to get into the terrestrialization from Shohei's side, though, as once again, he is going to be keeping that Amoonguss very, very safe by making it a water type. Let's see what Michael can do in this one. It does get itself nice and safe. Chien Pao wanting to scout out what's going on, making sure that it's not able to get anything really nasty sent its way. Amoonguss will be redirecting attention with that Rage Powder. Urshifu remaining asleep, and I don't think Urshifu's going to appreciate what's coming next from the Fluttermane. It is, of course, the Dazzling Gleam into the protect of the Chien Pao, and there the Urshifu is not loving it. An easy knockout for Shohei Kimura in this one. Answer to the side of this Amoonguss and the Fluttermane right now.
3 of the video game championship tournaments.
Chien Pao's got to do something huge. You've got to buy a ticket to win the raffle, and it's the only thing that will be potentially moving. It is dropped down to its focus sash thanks to that Dazzling Gleam from the side of the Fluttermane. It's got one turn to make an impact. It will crunch. It goes into the Amoonguss. It doesn't get any secondary effects. So as Pollen Puff will take out the Chien Pao, and all Michael Kelsch has remaining in this matchup is a sleeping Dragapult. That Dragapult is in a very nasty situation as Shohei still has 3 Pokemon remaining. Michael throws in the towel, and Shohei Kimura will be your 2023 Pokemon World Champion.